It is a Canada Credit Card Expert channel. Today we are having focused video about airlines and transferable currencies in Canada. As you might know, there are only two transferable currencies in Canada, ones that you actually can use the points to transfer into airlines. And today we are going to enumerate all of them, as well as what we're going to throw in is the co-branded credit cards in Canada and what exactly amount of points they actually give per airline once you spend $1. So just before that, subscribe right at the bottom and you'll be the first to know about the oncoming videos that are going to actually cover best strategies for transferable currencies and indeed collecting points with some of these airlines you're going to actually see on the list. First on the list is the American Airlines transfer by Avion. As you could actually see, only Avion would actually do that for you, and there is no co-branded credit card in Canada. And also at a reduced rate of 0.7 to 1, that means 10,000 Avion would transfer into 7,000 American Advantage miles. Now, the American Advantage system actually changed recently with loyalty points, and a lot of the status, at least, is now based on spending on credit cards. However, this is actually the case mainly for US-based credit card. It does have some really better deals when it comes to miles redemption on One World members. Only way of doing it here in Canada, essentially through credit cards, would be the Avion credit card. Next in line is Air Canada, and that is by far the most popular one in Canada. And here we got quite a few options. Firstly, the American Express. Membership rewards program could actually move points at a rate of 1 to 1. Air Canada is a star line, so obviously you could use these points from American Express into Air Canada to book on various star lines and a few other partners as well. And in Canada, there are quite a few core brand cards, that is. That means the RBC, TD, and American Express, and the earn ratio on these cards is anywhere between 1 to 3 when it comes to booking an Air Canada flight. So if you were to book an Air Canada flight with American Express, that will give you 2 points on the Platinum and Gold. And if you were to book an Air Canada flight with one of the other co-branded credit cards in Canada, there will be 1, 2, 3. Avion does not transfer any points to Air Canada. Now, the Air Canada co-brand cards, we do have a different video and we'll link it at the bottom about that. That is a whole new story, but they are considered the best airline credit cards in Canada, as they do actually give you a little bit more perks when it comes to flying with Air Canada. But if you're after only the points and redemption into Star Alliance, then American Express would actually do the trick. Next in line is the Air France KLM Flying Blue, and that would actually mean only American Express membership rewards would actually enable you to transfer points at the rate of 1 membership rewards to 0.75 Air France KLM Flying Blue miles. Now, there is a co-branded credit card in Canada. We are having a video about that, but just on a point of curiosity, it does actually give you each year of actually having the card some XP, which is XP is essentially a status points that you collect towards status with Air France KLM. Air France KLM being members of the Sky team, and on top of that, if you do have the card, you will be actually getting, by having the card, and that means only by having the card, even if you don't actually use it when you book an Air France or KLM flights, 3.33 miles per 1 Canadian dollar spent. So that is a little bit of a different type of system. So what it says is 5 miles per 1 euro. If we actually translate that into Canadian dollars, that would be 3.33 per $1 spent on Air France KLM just by having the card linked to your Air France KLM Flying Blue account. On top of it, you could actually double dip and use, say, the AMEX Platinum or the AMEX Gold to get even more points. So again, the 3.33 per 1 on whatever mileage you're supposed to be earning. And then on top of it, on the actual transaction, you could be using the American Express Gold or Platinum. Next in line is British Airways. British Airways Executive Club. That is a massive program, and within the Avios ecosystem, the Avios themselves are actually transferable, or rather shared by other airlines, One World members. So essentially, if you collect Avios points, then essentially you collect them for British Airways, but then you could consider that to be collecting for Qatar or Iberia or Finnair or whatever it is you would like to use in future. Now, as you might actually see on the screen, Avion is 1-to-1. Membership rewards is still 1-to-1. Essentially the same, but there is a video about the strategy for collecting with British Airways. Just a quick word about the co-brand card of British Airways, the RBC one. Well, this credit card is the best in Canada for actually collecting British Airways and booking British Airways, and that means $1 is 3 Avios. So that means that is by far the best rate we have in Canada for British Airways flights. And the other thing about the card, there is an ongoing promotion that has been extended pretty much endlessly since the beginning of this card, which is 10% off all flights that are actually booked in Canada, from Canada, with British Airways, under the condition they're actually booked in Canadian dollars. So 10% off flights, that is another unique feature of this co-brand card. However, there will be a whole separate video about that. Next in line is Cathay Pacific, and another member of One World, like British Airways, and like British Airways, it is the second and the only, well, basically part of the two only airlines in Canada where you can actually get these points from both membership rewards and Avion transferred into the Cathay Asia Miles program. Now, there is a little difference here. Here you could see that the Avion program does a little bit better, although Avion as a whole would, generally speaking, earn less points than the American Express major cards. So that would work out to be 1-to-1 on the Avion side of things. And if you were to actually take the American Express membership rewards, 1 MR would actually translate into 0.75 Asia Miles. There is a relatively new co-brand card of Cathay Pacific. We would argue it is far for exciting. It's just pretty much no real perks by having actually the card. There is a temporary promotion going on at the moment. However, with regards to the actual earn ratio as well as the cost and any other airline-specific perks, it's far from being great. There will be a different video about the strategies for Cathay Pacific as well. So that card would actually earn you 2 Asia Miles point per $1 on Cathay Pacific flights. Just as a reminder, it is better than the AMEX Gold and Platinum, because those 2 points on flights would actually translate into 1.5 Asia Miles, essentially, when you transfer the points. However, saying that, we are still actually in this zone with this card for 180 a year. Well, not so sure about that, but that's for another time. Delta Airlines is next in line, and Delta Airlines is a SkyTeam member. The American Express membership rewards card would actually translate 1 MR into 0.75 Delta Sky Miles. Now, Delta Sky Miles used to have actually co-brand credit cards in Canada, but not anymore. Delta Sky Miles is actually a partner of American Airlines. So that would actually be of any type of meaning when it comes to access to Delta lounges, for example, with American Express Platinum, but that's a whole different subject. But you do have the opportunity to move your points from American Express to Delta Airlines. The same works for Etihad, and Etihad is not actually a member of any alliance, although it does have some partnerships actually going with Air France KLM, for example. Having said that, you could be transferring points to Etihad at the rate of 1 membership reward to 0.75. So that is another possibility. And finally, that would be the second largest airline in Canada, WestJet. Now, WestJet has a partnership with RBC. It does have a co-brand card, but just to mention, obviously, what we want to see here right on the screen, Avion points will translate to WestJet dollars, pretty much at a rate of 100 to 1 essentially. So basically 1 cent is 1 avion point. Now, WestJet is pretty much a cashback type of program if you really think about it. The credit card, even the World Elite MasterCard credit card, co-brand card, it does have some perks such as annual companion. However, at the end of the day, the transfer rate, that would actually mean when you actually think about the transfer rate and the co-brand card, you really need to be an avid WestJet flyer to actually think about which one would actually work better. However, that is for a whole different video, and that will be the WestJet best strategy. So again, WestJet, Avion, 100 to 1. So that would kind of wrap it up. We do actually have, as you see on the screen, 8 airlines in total of various alliances. That is a Star Alliance, SkyTeam, and One World. And we do have 2 of these airlines where you can actually use both transferable currencies, the only transferable currencies in Canada. That is namely British Airways and Cathay Pacific, members of the One World. And the co-branded card, you could actually see that on the screen as well, and it will give you a good insight into which one would be actually best for your favorite airline and for your best redemptions. We hope it definitely helped you with that today. As we mentioned earlier, there are videos actually about the best strategies for each of these airlines, so basically subscribe, you'll be first to know about that. We will see you soon.